Welcome to VPG's Virtual Water Cooler Chat Podcast, a platform that features professionals across a variety of industries and promotes growth mindset principles with a central pillar of championing the achievements of women. Our conversations explore a wide spectrum of backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives, creating a vibrant mosaic that enriches our collective understanding and strengthens our commitment to growth and empowerment. Our guest interviewer is Ethan Woe, a curious STEM student and civil engineering graduate from UC Irvine, who is taking time to explore the IP space. Today, Ethan is speaking with Braxton K. Davis, a prominent Associate General Counsel at Meta. A member of the Patents, Licensing, and Open Source team, Braxton leverages his legal expertise to shape and protect innovations at one of the world's leading technology companies. Prior to joining Meta, Braxton was a key member of AT&T's intellectual property patent development team. Dedicated to enhancing the patent profession, Braxton founded and is the current Executive Director of the Patent Institute of Training and the National Council of Patent Practicum, a nonprofit organization to improve quality and diversity in the field. Additionally, Braxton developed MetricMate, a tech startup featured on Shark Tank, and was recognized in the Georgia Institute of Technology and Georgia State University's prestigious 40 Under 40 Awards. Let's get started.
Today, I am a guest interviewer of Braxton Davis on the Virtual Water Cooler Chat. My name is Ethan Woe, and I am a litigation assistant for Virtual Patent Gateways. And I appreciate Ashley for the opportunity. Can you start by telling us how you know Ashley?
Sure. Thanks, Ethan, and happy to be here. Yes, I know Ashley through a mutual acquaintance, actually a few mutual acquaintances, Jeremiah Chan being one of them. And we were able to, meet and have conversations and have partnered on certain initiatives, and just realizing that we're aligned on, certain things in the industry and the IP profession, and use each other as a sounding board for some of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you think you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your story?
Yeah, certainly. For going back to my formative years, I was born in Detroit, raised in rural South Carolina, a little town called Walterboro. And then I came to Atlanta for college, where I attended Morehouse College and Georgia Institute of Technology. I worked for a couple of years for GE on their operational management leadership program. And then I proceeded to go to law school at Georgia State University. I will say that one thing about my story that a lot of people don't expect is that I actually grew up on a farm. We had cows, pigs, chickens. My grandfather was a sharecropper. And so I had my formative years were actually a lot of manual labor. And it was one of the things that incentivized me to get into technology and computers and things of that nature. And so that's something that a lot of people just don't know about me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw I believe your humble beginnings video on Vimeo, and I thought that was a great little insight into your history and your past. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
And so you went to Morehouse College, you said, to start, and you double majored there, is that correct?
Yeah. So Morehouse and Georgia Tech, they had a dual degree engineering program. So I studied physics at Morehouse and then transferred to Georgia Tech for the rest of the second portion of the degree, or the second degree, which was electrical engineering.
Oh, nice. Nice. And then I think I also did an interview a couple weeks ago with Wes White, and you guys knew each other through that, from there?
Wes White and I are the same class, did the same program between Morehouse and Georgia Tech, both majored in electrical engineering. And so I know Wes really well. So it's always interesting to run into other people from Morehouse or Georgia Tech that actually became patent attorneys. But I like to joke with Wes and tell him since he's the litigator and I'm the prosecutor, he wouldn't exist but for what I do.
Oh, shit. That's so funny. It was a total coincidence that I ended up interviewing both of you just back to back. But I saw, obviously, looking at you guys' education history background, and I was, it seems like maybe there's some similarities there. I wonder if they know each other. So that's great. I talked to Wes about it, and now I'm talking to you about it. And you said you became, obviously, an IP attorney. What led from a career in double majoring in applied physics and electrical engineering and then deciding to go to law? Was that always the plan, or how did that end up for you?
No, it was one of those things that was the furthest thing from the plan. I went to Morehouse and Georgia Tech thinking that I wanted to be an engineer, and that was it. Unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, but I'll start with unfortunately, The reason that I became interested in law school was due to racial profiling, having been stopped by police officers on several occasions, having been in cuffs in the back police unit
Wow.
more than once, and all things that nothing that I was doing wrong. And so I remember contacting an attorney and just feeling like, well, hey, what can I do? Can I file a lawsuit? And so on and so forth. And I remember her telling me, she's like, well, if unless you have a lot of time and money to fight it, then I don't think it's gonna be worth it because I see cops actually get off for beating people all of the time. So from my perspective, it became more going to law school became more so about being well aware of my rights, being able to protect myself and my family from those situations, and being a voice for somebody else when they get into situations that are less than fortunate situations like that. And so when I graduated Georgia Tech, I was highly considering law school, obviously, and ran into another engineer who at the time wanted to become a patent attorney. He said, well, if you're thinking about law school and you have the engineering degree, you should maybe go into patent law. And so I started really looking into it and researching it and saw that patent lawyers make decent salaries, make decent livings. And then it was, oh, you don't even have to go to law school in order to start practicing. You can, with the engineering degree, you qualify to sit for the patent bar. And so I did that prior to going to law school and leveraging that to actually help my law school admissions. And so me going to law school was a function of nice thing that occurred or incident that occurred in my life or incidences. But I will say that looking at where I am now and some of the impact that I've been able to have and guiding and helping others, mentoring others to get to this point in their life, then I'll say that it was completely worth it.
I didn't know that. That's amazing, your journey, though. Obviously, not the start of it, I mean, the reason, but everything you've done since then. I know you've had great impact on many people and you're influential in the space. And yeah, it's really impressive and admiring what you've done. So I know that obviously following that, you're working on debiasing the patent profession. Can you explain what you've been doing for that and the organizations you've helped found?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the debiasing part, that's a part of NCPP and realizing that, we all have bias. We all have implicit bias. I don't care who you are, every one of us. And in reality, I think the only way for us to have a more equity-based system within this profession and others as well is to, one, acknowledge those biases and then work to check them at the door, as it were. Understanding that my background is going to be different than someone else in a different socioeconomic status, understanding that there are differences across educational platforms and experiences that individuals have. And if take note of those differences and use them to our advantages and understanding that some people are going to be stronger in other areas than others and partnering and leveraging those differences, then the profession as a whole will be a lot better. And so we work at NCPP through our patent pipeline program, our PPP as we call it, we work to help different individuals in different socioeconomical situations and a variety of different backgrounds to give them that kind of foot in the door, that mentorship, those resources, the training and development that is all too often lacking within the profession and all too often missed by law schools to a certain degree. And so we work to provide those experiences so that we can continue this effort of debiasing the industry.
That's awesome. I think that's a great program. Obviously, I connected with you through Jeremiah. And yeah, I think just the mission of NCPP is amazing. And I think that just the awareness of bringing the patent pipeline, letting people know that's an option, because before I was interested or really looking into law, I mean, I was I didn't know it was a thing, right? And having Jeremiah tell me what it was, let me know, hey, I have a colleague, Braxton, and he he has his patent pipeline program, and that brought me into trying to understand what that was, learning about what you do, and considering obviously for myself at one point. And now, I mean, now I'm also here working as a litigation assistant with Ashley, and now I'm interviewing you. And I mean, it's really interesting how awareness can bring
Oh yeah,
people into it, right?
That's a big part of it. The awareness. Like you, I didn't know. Well, I didn't know any attorneys. I didn't know any engineers growing up. I'm the first engineer and attorney in my family. And if you just really think about, if you start to educate people with STEM backgrounds and who are interested in these things earlier on, just think about the different career and life moves that they can make a lot early on. So, for instance, our patent pipeline students, some of which are in law school right now, Harvard Law, UGA. They found out about this profession. We trained them, helped them get employed with law firms that then catapulted their careers, in their educational careers now, and their legal careers, right? Those are all things that would not be so easily accomplished without the awareness aspect, right? And so the awareness itself is just as important as the impact overall, because if you don't know, if you can't see it, you can't be it, right? If you don't know what the rules and regulations are, what to do next, then that hill becomes a lot more steep for you to climb.
Yeah. So it's great what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to how it keeps spreading awareness for everybody, and hopefully more people will learn about it, more people will be interested in it. And yeah. So then I also know you have another organization, Patent Institute of Training. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So Patent Institute of Training, or PIT as we call it, was actually the precursor to NCPP. And there's a little known story behind that as well. And so in having taken the patent bar before going to law school and knowing that that's specifically what I wanted to focus on, I was on a journey to ensure that I got the proper education I needed in order to pursue that profession. Understanding that a lot of the job openings that I saw required 1 to 2 years of experience. And so my thought was, well, how am I supposed to get 1 to 2 years of experience if I need a job to get those 1 to 2 years of experience? And so it was unspoken or unwritten catch-22 in the patent profession in general. And so initially I took it to Georgia State as I wanted them to create a clinic, a patent clinic where they could work with the USPTO and train students on how to draft and prosecute patents. That didn't work out. And so I took it and formed it into a business idea for myself. And at the time, since I was a member of the patent bar, I could open up a patent firm. And then I went out and recruited clients and got business draft for people to have their patents developed. And the money that I made from that, I paid to seasoned attorneys to train me on how to do the patent work, so that I was actually getting those experiences that I needed to then leave law school and leverage in order to get my first full-time job.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. That's awesome, though. Yeah, I mean, having that need for experience, that's a great way to get people to have that experience. I didn't realize that's what that was. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then so just over the years, growing that program and realizing that a nonprofit might be better suited for the type of work that we were doing, that's where NCPP came from.
Oh, okay.
But all of the original curriculum and development is and was housed under Patent Institute of Training, which was the initial company.
Oh, that's an amazing development of that program into NCPP. Didn't realize that. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of find that helpful, or I find what Ashley's doing as well a little different, but helping people that want to get into the field of law and whatever IP law, just helping us, give us some experience, helping us understand a little more, doing some litigation assistant work, and it's been great that way too.
Cool.
So I know that you have the 15-year of NCPP coming up, right? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Do you have, what is the future looking like for your organizations, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, more than that?
Like more immediately, we're looking at making sure that this 15-year reunion anniversary goes off without a hitch, which is September 19th at 6 p.m. here in Atlanta. And so we're opening our doors and extending invites to any interested individuals in the IP community and profession. We want to see you there to help celebrate with us. As you mentioned, it has been 15 years. And so we're looking at this as different political climate right now and everything that's going on. We're looking at this as a time to recoup, celebrate, and all come together in unity and celebrate those wins that we've had over the years, from individuals getting into law school, becoming patent prosecutors, litigators themselves, all of our old trainers and attorneys and mentees that have been affiliated with the programs over the years, inviting them back. And we really just want to leverage the anniversary event as an opportunity to recognize excellence within the profession and to really highlight those law firms that are doing great work, that have sponsored our students, and recognizing individuals that are well deserving of that recognition as well. So that's more immediate, but ultimately we want to continue to debias the industry. We want to continue to provide opportunities for up and coming individuals, a new generation, as it were. We want to continue to set standards for the patent industry as we do with our CPP, which is our Certified Patent Practitioner credential, really develop and grow that, right? And become even more known for those things, which are two pillars of the overall NCPP organization.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you think like how, for people that like don't, obviously you explained it to me, but like for the NCPP, do you want to explain like what that looks like for somebody that would be interested like in that, or like how that program would go?
How the Certified Patent Practitioner program would go, or the
the CCP program would go.
Yeah, the impetus behind that program is basically this. You can take and pass the patent bar without ever having drafted a patent whatsoever. Unfortunately, the patent bar doesn't give you the requisite knowledge, or passing the patent bar doesn't give you the requisite knowledge to actually draft and prosecute. And so there's a disconnect there, which is that you could have, like me, I had a full registration number and was registered patent agent, but I didn't know the practical aspects of the practice itself. And so what the CPP credential focuses on is the practical knowledge and aptitude to draft and prosecute patent applications and represent clients to the best of your ability. And so there are two ways to become a CPP. One is to waive in if you've had 5 or more years of experience, drafted 50 plus patent applications, prosecuted 50 plus patent applications, and have had no disciplinary issues in front of the USPTO. And the second way to become a CPP is to actually test in, which is taking an 8-hour patent drafting prosecution test that will provide us with insights into your aptitude for the profession and for doing the day-to-day work. And then that's how you receive your credential. And then we also hold our members to a higher standard within the industry. And what I mean by that is, for instance, most states have CLE requirements. For us, we have 12 CLE requirements here in Georgia as a member of the Georgia Bar that we have to maintain every year. But I could go out and take 12 family law CLEs and still meet my bar membership requirements for the Georgia Bar. But taking 12 family law CLEs doesn't really do anything for the patent profession or continue my growth in education in that manner. And so what we've established with the CPP credential is that you must maintain at least 6 patent-specific CLEs per year in order to continue your membership. And the focal point there and the goal there is to really incentivize us to continue to grow, continue to learn. The profession's ever-changing. Things are ever-changing with technology. And so we need to be up to speed on those things. And that's the overall goal of the CLE requirement for the Certified Patent Practitioner credential.
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that. That's awesome. That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously you did electrical engineering in undergrad and applied physics. Do you have any recommendations for anyone that maybe didn't do electrical engineering? Like, what are your thoughts on getting into the field of IP law, yes, specifically?
Yeah, this is a good question, Ethan. When it comes to patent prosecution, one of the things I found out very early on in my career is that your technical degree can determine the number of opportunities you have for employment. And so what we do know is that on the engineering side, computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineers are pretty traditionally sought after. It differs on the scientific side as well. So if you get into, say, chemistry, most firms want you to have at least a PhD, at least a master's, but more than likely a PhD. And so while we try not to discourage individuals from pursuing patent prosecution, if indeed they don't have those degrees, that's really the standard that's out there. However, there are different things you can do. So for instance, if you don't have any type of technical degree whatsoever, that doesn't preclude you from practicing patent litigation. Understand that you have to go to law school to practice patent litigation. And you can't just start at like the technical specialist or patent agent route like our patent pipeline program students do. But it does provide another avenue to get into the profession that doesn't require the engineering or science degree. right? I know some people who have gone back to get a master's in one of those more highly sought after degrees, electrical engineering, computer science, in order to qualify for the patent bar because they specifically want to focus on patent prosecution. So that's a path as well. Maybe a little more costly, a little more time consuming, but I do know people who've done phenomenally well and been successful after taking that route. Other than that, taking professional education classes within those technical disciplines that may be short of a degree, of that specific degree, but also continuing to hone your skill set in patent drafting or patent prosecution simultaneously. So for instance, we may have someone come to us who doesn't have one of the high sought after degrees, but they do have an engineering degree. And we will train them how to draft patents in alignment with the highly sought after degrees. So electrical engineering based patents, computer engineering based patents, such that they could say, well, I don't have this degree per se, but I have done sample work and prosecution and preparation work in these spaces. And here's a working sample, here's a work sample, work product. You can see how well I have been able to adapt in order to conquer this skill set. And so that's a route as well. Obviously not as direct, but it is another route. And so those are traditionally, I think, the three routes that I give individuals as far as educating them on how to maneuver based on where they fall on that spectrum.
Mm-hmm. That's very informative. I mean, I think obviously we've had conversations about it, right? I graduated from UC Irvine in civil engineering, and I worked in the field of civil engineering for a little over a year, but obviously now I'm looking into the field of law and trying to figure out what the best path for me is, and talking to you, talking to other people throughout the industry. And it's been great just understanding everything that there is. And I hope other people can also be aware, obviously, and understand what their opportunities are, what types of paths there are, law school or not law school, right? It's really great what you've been doing. It's a great avenue for people. And I mean, some of my friends that graduated in electrical engineering too, they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life now that they've graduated. Like, a bunch of my friends have just graduated. They're like not sure what to do. And I've mentioned obviously patent agent work or stuff like that to them. So I hope I'm able to bring awareness now that I'm more aware of what you do and everything like that. So I believe, I mean, I'll obviously see if I get out there in September for, what day is it again? Can you,
September
19th?
6 p.m. It starts at 6 p.m. It's a Friday. We're mindful of that. People traveling in town, they'd have the rest of the weekend just to hang out in Atlanta if they want to, or network with some of the other individuals who will be in town as well. Yeah, hopefully you can make it. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, obviously, no, my mom's going.
Yes, she
Just to
is.
say that, just to say that, obviously my mom's going. That's exciting. I know she's excited for it. Lastly, do you just have any advice you would give anybody just in the field in general, looking into it?
Yeah, I have this saying. It's kind of a rather nerdy saying. It's called life is anything except y equals mx plus b. And y equals mx plus b is the equation for ascending a sloped line and ascending slope line, right? And what I mean by that is we all tend to put certain pressures and expectations on ourselves. Hey, I want to graduate by this age, by this year. I want to own a house by this date this year. I want to pass the bar at this time, and so on and so forth. And a lot of times you get lost in the minutia of just trying to pursue that goal and putting it on a specific timeline that in reality may or may not serve you to the best of its ability, right? And so what I mean by that, why life is anything except y equals mx plus b is it's not always a straight line. It's not always linear. It's not always going to ascend. There are going to be times where you're going to have setbacks. There are going to be times when you're going to be moving in circles. There are going to be negative things that happen, like the experience I shared with you, that actually result in a positive, right? And what you tend to find is as long as you stay consistent and have goals for yourself, you tend to accomplish those and do even better and greater things than you envisioned or anticipated when you set that artificial timeline upon yourself already, right? And so I would say that some of my greatest feats, as it were all predicated on setbacks or things that didn't happen upon the timeline with which I expected them to happen. And so I think the sooner, and it's difficult to get yourself out of that frame, right? We're a very timeline driven society and parents on your back and things of that nature. I get, but just understand that it's not always the setback that you think it is when something doesn't happen on your specific timeline. And I'm definitely a living, breathing example of that happening in my life several times.
Wow. I haven't heard that saying, but I find that an awesome, great saying.
We're going to have to trademark it. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to. I'll help you draft it. But yeah, no, I mean, at least growing up or in college, or I had a very specific straight line. I thought, graduate, I'm gonna work here. Every year I was planning out the next 10 years or 5, 10 years, right? Whatever, since I was in college. Obviously it doesn't go that way exactly, and that's fine. And I'm enjoying, or I'm trying to figure out what I want to do right now. And I don't need to have that exact, this year I'm going to be working here. This year I'm going to get promoted, this, whatever. And it's been great to just make sure you have goals, obviously, but it's been good to not stress yourself out, or
Yes.
making sure I'm hitting exactly what I thought I was planning, 4 years ago or whatever. And
stressing yourself out is how you get all these grades. So
I don't see it. But yeah, I appreciate that's some great insight, and amazing to look back or dive into how you've grown into where you are now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have anywhere that anyone can reach you if they want to connect, if they want to reach out or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. My email address is bdavis@thencpp.org, thencpp.org. I would love to hear from anybody via email, or I'm active on LinkedIn. I connect with a lot of individuals in the profession that way. We have candid conversations, whether in public or through private message. We definitely want you all to attend the reunion anniversary if you can. We'll definitely be posting information about that on the NCPP LinkedIn page, as well as my LinkedIn page. It's going to be a beautiful event and really be an opportunity for us to celebrate all the great things that we've been able to accomplish in the past 15 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Braxton. Yeah, make sure you're there. Make sure you're at that event. Congratulations as well on 15 years again. Thank you for being a guest today on the Virtual Water Cooler Chat.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be talking soon, Ethan.
Absolutely.